As a fashion startup, it can be pretty overwhelming to look at a cost sheet for the first time. There's loads of entries, there's loads of numbers, it could be in a foreign language. What does a cost sheet actually mean to you? And the most important bit is, how do you know it's actually a fair price? So pretty much in this video, I'm going to walk you through and explain what a costing sheet looks like, what it means, as well as teach you how to know if you're getting a fair price. And if you're not, then what you need to do to go back to the supplier to be like, I need a better price. So let's get stuck in. So step one, we're going to actually go through a costing sheet, and I'm going to walk you through what to look out for and how to know if it's a good cost or not. So let's just pretty much get stuck straight into looking at a costing sheet. So here we go. This is a costing sheet. This is an example of what one looks like. So this isn't real. It's just made up for you guys. So yeah, so it's not too scary. Pretty much the top section is simply going to have all of your product information. So normally there's an image to remind you of what the product is, there's a style number, how much quantity you're asking for, etc. So that's just simply an explanatory top section. Then the bit that you really should be studying and looking out for is this section. So as you can see, they're normally broken into stages. So the first one is simply looking at the fabric. So how much does the fabric cost, and actually how much does it cost to make it? So this is all about the fabric and the make. The next bit is any of the added extras, so the buttons, the zippers, packaging labels, so all of the added extras that have gone on top of the fabric and the make to actually make your garment. In a lot of scenarios, RMB, so this is looking at a Chinese supplier, so always be aware of your currency, but generally these costing sheets should convert your factory currency into a local exchange rate, whatever your current currency is. So pretty much you'll get used to seeing the different currencies and kind of understanding what it means, but you're looking here for a shirt. So this shirt is overall costing 74 RMB. Is that good? Does that scream alarm bells immediately? As a quick sanity check, you'd look down here and think, okay, overall it's $29 Australian dollars to make this shirt. You'd already be starting to think, I knew I was thinking of selling this for 99. Therefore, does 30, a third, seem reasonable? Yes, as an immediate summary, that's coming close to 70%. That's not too bad. So you'd be looking at any of these entries to say, okay, a dyeing surcharge, is your garment dyed? Yes. Okay, that's not that bad. Why is there a surcharge? 80 cents per unit, that's not too high, so that's okay. So pretty much you'd be looking at the cost of any of the really high price points. So here would be 61 RMB for the fabric. Does that seem reasonable? Is it a special fabric? Is it a polyester? So that would be something you'd check. And also you'd run down any of these to make sure that, do you have adjusters in your design? Make sure that they haven't added something on there that wasn't in your design spec. So this is pretty much where line by line you do a sanity check to make sure that everything you asked for has actually been costed and it's reasonable. Also, you check the overall consumption in meters to see, does that seem accurate? Was there a lot of fullness in your shirt, which here we can see the pleating and there's quite a bit of fabric. Therefore, 2 meters, it seems reasonable consumption. So pretty much you just check everything you've asked for and check the pricing against it. But pretty much overall, you're looking to pull out this total cost price. So pretty much to produce this shirt, it's actually costing you $29 if you produce 1,000 pieces. So that's another kind of critical check for how many units are they quoting you that cost price. So if you then produce less, no doubt your price will go up. What is that price? So there are again things that you can check. So this is a costing sheet, and these are the types of things you'd be looking out for. And if you're not happy with any of them, ask a question. So find out, get a reason as to why. Also, if you know that that's a high cost for the fabric, what can you do to the design to say remove the fullness? they're types of then next step questions that you need to be pretty much answering. Okay, let's move to the next step. So pretty much now you know what a costing sheet looks like. You understand you've got a cost per unit. So now you need to actually understand if that's actually good price. So the only way to do that is to actually run it through a calculation, looking at the selling price, all of the other costs, so the cost of freight, duty, etc., all of the costs that it's going to cost you to produce, to ship, to deliver that item, and actually check, are you making money? So that's the only way to actually know if that's a fair price that you have been quoted for. These are the costs that you now need to find out for your fashion brand. So if you find these costs in the next example, I'm going to run you through actually then how you calculate the landed margin. So COGS, cost of goods, that's exactly what we've just talked about. That's your product costing sheet, how much it actually costs to make the item. And then everything else are going to be variants based on where you are actually shipping in the world. So these are pretty much pointers for you to go and find out the answers. So this is a collection margin calculation sheet. So what this is doing is pretty much looking at all of the costs that we just talked about. All of those costs are here across this top section. And item by item, you're going to now be able to work out the landed margin based on your cost of goods plus all other costs. So you need to pretty much create a similar template to this. And what you're doing is looking at the sale price, so what you think it's worth retailing at, and stripping out all of your costs, actually how much money it's going to make you. What is the landed margin in this scenario? So this is the only way to accurately check that is that cost of goods a fair price based on your proposed sell price. In this scenario is 80, your cost of goods is 49. Is that actually a fair sell price? So let's say if you still think it's a fair sell price, then do you need to increase your retail price to make a better margin? So here we can see that I've actually given you a goal to work towards. So pretty much to be profitable in your own direct consumer sales, as well as your third party, your wholesale sales, you need a collection average of 70 to be profitable. So pretty much right now, this shirt is my made up example. You either need to increase the retail price, or you need to decrease the actual COGS, the cost of goods. So therefore you would revert back to this and see what you can either change with the design or push back to the supplier to reduce these costs. So this is now how you work out, is it a fair price and how much money you're actually making. Finally, I just want to run you through some costing tips. So pretty much, as mentioned, you need to look at an overall collection margin of 70. So if, say, you've got most of them at over 70 and you've got a few under, so at 65 or something, that's okay if it's an overall collection margin of 70. So some you'll underachieve, some you'll overachieve, but that's an okay average to work to. So pretty much use the template I just showed you, your margin calculation, as a working sheet. So keep updating it daily as your costs keep coming back in, if you're changing your designs or negotiating. So it's a working sheet. The final retail price that you think is accurate, discuss it with others. So if you're just not making margin and you're really not sure, is it worth much more, £10 more, discuss it with somebody, show them the design, get their opinion. Don't make these decisions always by yourself. I'd encourage you to share that costing template with your supplier by giving them a target cost price. So don't show your margin, remove those when you share it, but pretty much you can use that sheet to actually give them a guide price point. So you can say, I actually need to achieve this cost for this shirt based on selling it at £90. Don't stress, costings can be a long process. It can be lots of back and forth, but take your time, start early, and make sure you've got time to negotiate, tweak, and actually make your cost price profitable for you. One final thing I want to mention is we have a weekly blog called Fashion Insights, which is updated weekly with loads of content for fashion startups. So things that we discuss are what steps you need to take to launch, what does a profitable product look like, how do you work that out, or how do you actually produce it, how to actually launch, and then how to scale immediately upon launch, and loads of sales marketing methods for you as a fashion startup. So that's just some of the topics that we cover every single week. So definitely go and check it out. The link's on the page. I hope that now has given you an understanding of what a product costing template, a sheet, looks like, and it will now give you the confidence to work out whether or not you have a fair price for your product in your first collection. If you have any questions, please get in touch. And yes, we will speak soon. Thank you. Bye.